It's got to be sort of exact making the sushi. It's got to be uniformly shaped, and it's got to be fitting in a certain pattern, and it's got to be able to be ingested in one bite, hopefully. This sushi roll has been quantized in a sense. Quantizing in production terms, meaning like snapping sounds and MIDI to a grid. And I think that like there's a level of focus that I learned in making sushi that I've applied definitely to making music. I make tunes in my underwear under the name FaltyDL and try and sell them to people when I can. I started washing dishes at this Japanese restaurant. The head owner was out of town and his mother was at the restaurant sort of helping keep it afloat. She hired me. She was like, can you help me cut up some vegetables in the kitchen? So here I am a month later and I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking. And then when he comes back, he's like, did I hire you? And I was like, oh yeah, your mother hired me. I'm in the accelerator kitchen here. One of the accelerator kitchens making sushi today. I think we're gonna make the Atlantic roll. Avocado, scallions, fresh rice, fresh salmon, a lot of love. I was making a lot of sort of careless 180 beats per minute jungle, but not even really proper jungle, like it was really messed up. Sort of all over the place, weird samples and stuff, and it was all really fast. I was having a great time doing it, and I was trading tunes with a box cutter at the time who told me to chill out. He was like, try doing something around 130 beats per minute. Try to make me like a garage track or like a two-step track. And to be perfectly honest, this was about 2 years ago. I didn't really know exactly what he was talking about. The cleaning of the rice is very important, and this has to be done slowly and methodically. You want to let the water fill up cleaning the rice, and you don't want to use your hand and move it around too much. I've sat and done this for about 45 minutes before. The water's very cloudy. The rice will be done when I go like this, and you won't see any clouds of starch whatsoever. I made a tune called Human Meadow. That's like 130 beats per minute, and I was sending all that crazy sort of jungle stuff to Mike Paradinas over at Planet Mu. He was like, all right, I got enough tunes, I don't need any more, but I sent him this Human Meadow track, and he's like, I think his words were, this is actually pretty good. My cutting technique is a little rusty, so we're gonna see how I am here. There's the claw, of course, which is where you sort of pinch into the vegetable and keep your knuckles out and keep the blade against that. So we will see how fast I am. That was not bad considering it's been a while. You can go back over it, cut them up a little bit finer. Fresh scallions. We also have an avocado we're gonna cut. Cut it right into the pit and just turn it over, and it should just twist off. If you do this a few times, you should be able to just have thin slices, and then hopefully you can just peel it off. Now I don't know if this is sushi grade salmon. We don't really know, but this was picked up earlier. It looks all right. There's a few things we can do to tell to see how fresh it is. These white lines are sinews, which are pretty much fat that run through it. Now, while they do add some flavor, they do get in the way of cutting and they do get in the way of chewing. And so you don't want to see a lot, but you do want to see a fresh marbleized sort of pattern like right here. That looks beautiful. This piece actually looks even better right here. This piece is much more orange, much more fresh. And this is also it's a little transparent. It's a little like you can almost see through to deeper layers of sinews in here, and that's another way of telling whether or not it's fresh. For a roll, cutting the salmon isn't very important. You could shred it out with your fingers and it wouldn't matter because it's the inside. A roll is not very much about presentation, but when you go and you order like a nigiri, you know, which is like a little ball of rice and a piece of fish on top of it, then you wanna really pull off sort of like a layer like this, take the rice, wrap it over like that, pretending that's the rice, that's your piece of nigiri. Also have the nori. Count back about 2 or 3 of these sections and just cut it there and hopefully let it peel away. And this is enough to make a piece of sushi for what we're doing. Jungle is my favorite type of music of all time. I love jungle. I wish I could do it properly. You know, I think about the production techniques that I've learned in the last year. If I could somehow apply that to my old jungle template, maybe I could do something with it. But when I slowed down to about 130, 135 beats per minute, it just totally clicked. You know, there's this dubstep explosion going on, and I'm hearing a lot of things that are around 135, 140 beats per minute, and that was like, it was like a little too fast for me, even that. I had sort of slowed down more than that. And I just was hearing like old anthems like It's a London Thing, Scott Garcia. That shuffle, that like sexy shuffle in the rhythm in the garage was just like, oh, that's for me right there. So we're gonna shut this off. And as you can tell, it looks really clear in there, like the cloud is gone. It's been sitting here for probably about 20-25 minutes. Just a final sort of rinse. Get any last remaining starch off the rice. Here's our rice and water. Cook. We did a fairly good job cooking the rice. We're gonna get just what we need for this roll. We're gonna leave the rest in there. Perfect. I'm releasing a song in about 2 months that has a sample that is in a current hit right now, all over the place. I'm not gonna mention it, but like I hear it in that song and I'm like, damn, you know, I wrote that tune like 2 years ago. It's gonna come out in another 4 months. I don't know when that guy wrote that tune, but it's like, things take a while to come out. So as far as what you're responding to, it's like maybe we're all responding to where each other was in the past a couple years ago. Okay, so we're taking something from the past, making it in the present, releasing it on the future, on a label with a history, becoming part of history. This is gonna come in handy for just keeping your hands wet when you're holding the rice. Finesse with rice is actually sort of a hard thing to learn. That takes time, and it has to do with not too much water, but just a little bit of water on your hands, and then keeping it wet, and then you can handle lots of things and not have them all stick to you like they just did. When I'm cutting sushi, I like to just dip the end of the knife in there and going like this, and you can just watch the water just runs right down the edge of the blade. You want just like a little ball of rice right into the center. Spread it out like a hot dog, and then with your thumb and your fingers up. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to cover up about 2/3 or so of the nori. Flip over, and first we will take our salmon, cut it into little sections like this. Let's cut it up here, get rid of that piece, boom, that's perfect. Lay it down in the middle, my fingers a little bit, take a little bit of the scallions, put some scallions in there. Scallions to taste, you can basically put as much avocado as you want in there. I obsessively keep my hands moist when I'm making sushi. Drag it down to the bottom. We've got it pinched here like this. We're gonna keep it tucked in here tight, and we just go like this. Squeezing a little bit. I don't want to squeeze any of the ingredients outside, so I want to keep it sort of uniformly pressured. Roll it over again, bring it back, roll like so. We'll make it tight. Sit there like that. There's our roll. There's some sort of like basic truths about the music that you're making and what it really is inspired from and where it comes from. And I think the journey in trying to figure out where it came from inside of you is what it's all about, because I'm not making millions of dollars making music, so I might as well be learning something about myself when I'm making the tunes, you know. A roll like this is typically cut into about 8 pieces or 6 pieces. I'm better at going through the middle and then actually lining it up next to itself. Again, cutting down the middle, being careful of your fingers, of course. Cutting, cutting, cutting. This to the side. There we go. There's our Atlantic roll. I'll do one thing for you that I used to do a lot, which is great. This is sort of like the sushi counter we had. You got to come a little bit lower with the camera, but on the other side of this, so you can't see this. Come like down over here, but back. So you, all right, yeah, that's good enough. So I'd be sitting like this. People would be sitting at the sushi counter, and I'd want to impress them with my knife skills. So I'd be pretending like I'm chopping scallions, and I would just be with my other hand. I'd just be throwing them up in the air like this.